Guys, here we are at Irvine Lake. We're going to show you a technique that is very good all-around technique for dragging a crawler or bait fishing. Bait fishing here catches a lot of big fish, especially crawlers. I'll show you how to set it up and what rod to use it on. Perfect kind of rod for this kind of technique, dragging a crawler, which I'm going to show you, is a 7.5 to 8 foot rod. You want something that has a parabolic bend for when you're fighting the fish, a softer tip, but yet you want something that's going to be able to set that hook hard and drive it home, especially on your long cast. We have a 7.5 foot rod, a 4-pound reel, ultralight reel. You can fish 2-pound, but with the crawlers and bigger fish here in Irvine Lake, they got potential fish up to 17, 18 pounds here. So what you want is something that you can handle those big fish with. Dragging a crawler catches a lot of big fish. It's a good technique on a windy day and on slow, calm days like we have here today. What we want to do is take a 1/4 ounce or 1/8 ounce sliding sinker, slide it on. Take a small number 10 or 12 swivel, slide it through, and I'll tie a Palomar knot with everything that I do. Palomar knot is really real simple. It's an easy knot. What you want to do is make a leader about 1.5 to 2 foot. The longer the leader for dragging is the best. The reason is when you're pulling the worm across the bottom, it floats the bait back up slowly, and they'll usually hit it when you stop and the bait is floating back up. Drag technique is very simple, very easy, especially on slow days. Make yourself about 1.5 to 2 foot leader. Again, a Palomar knot on the other end. Then you tie your main line that you end up dragging a crawler with. What I'm using is a small bait holder hook, a light wire hook. It helps floats the crawler when you put the air in it. It's a size 8 or 10 bait holder hook. Palomar knot is by far the easiest knot to learn, and it's one of the strongest knots to tie. What I like to do is take a full crawler and cut it in half, and take the end that you cut and take the hook and thread it through. You want to go down about 1/4 inch and lay it flat so the hook is like that, kind of like a Texas rig, an open hook Texas rig crawler. So that way when it floats up like that, it's not twisting and balling up. A lot of people, when they make a mistake by balling the hook or the bait up on the hook like that, that is the wrong way to do it. You don't want that. You want to make it look as natural as possible. Therefore, you want it straight. You take a needle like this, or anything that you can pump air into it. The smaller the diameter needle, the better it is, so you don't blow up the crawler when you're pumping air into it. You just take it, lay the worm down, insert the needle in just a little bit, and watch the worm blow up. Just a little bit. Make sure that it floats, and it's floating. What you want to do with this technique, it's really simple, is cast it out. After you cast it out, let it sit line goes slack, you tighten up the slack, and you only want to move the rod tip about 2, 3, 4 inches at a time. You don't want to move it too fast. What happens is with that long leader, you're moving it 2 or 3 inches, you're pulling the crawler down. Sometimes you get bit when you're pulling it down, but most of the time you get bit as it's floating back up. The crawler's always moving, kind of like a mini jig or a power worm technique, where you're moving the worm 2, 3, 4 inches at the time. Drop your rod tip. As you're dropping your rod tip, you're reeling the slack in, and you let it sit there for a couple of seconds. As the worm floats back up, you'll feel the trout load up on the rod, or it'd be like a bluegill bite. Just let them take it, let the rod load up a little bit, the line will come tight, then set the hook. It's a great technique on days that are real windy and days that are really, really slow, where they're not really on the bite. They're kind of lethargic. You just kind of move the bait really, really slow. And I've caught fish in the from anywhere from 8 to 13, 14 pounds doing this technique.